Kenny Mayne. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hope you guys are doing okay in the weather.
Yeah, we're hanging in. We got a little break today. It's going to rain tomorrow, but today the sun's out, and it's a great day to get in a bar, I would say. Don't you think? All right. Are you buying the Brock Purdy hype?
He's been pretty smooth. I mean, it's working, right? How many games have they won in a row now?
6? Oh, 10 overall.
Yeah, and with him doing all right. They got a whole bunch of weapons, though, so, he just has to go in there and do his thing. I hate that whole, cliche about managing and all that, because he's making, real plays. It's not like he's, being too timid. I've liked what I've seen. Didn't know much about him until all of a sudden he showed up on the field that one day. But, when the quarterback has to introduce himself to the huddle, he's new. But they were right to like him, and he's proven to be pretty good.
Kenny, I'll say this. Geno Smith had the quote of 2022 after that Monday night win. They wrote me off. I didn't write back. And that takes me to my question to you. Did you write the Seahawks off this season, specifically Geno?
No, I didn't know it would turn out as well as it did. But I just remember being interviewed, August, July, whatever, before the season had started. I said, I don't know how it's going to work. I trust Pete Carroll. So if he says it's going to work out and he's made the playoffs most of the time he's been there, give the man the wheel, right? And Geno, to his credit, just jumped in there like he'd been playing the whole time. That was what was amazing is it looked like he'd already had an extended long career instead of sitting around for all these years, right? He was kind of like going to be a backup forever, it seemed. And he got more confidence with time. He had a couple off games, but, quarterback's hard position. And he's still, figuring it out all season long, getting into that rhythm that he didn't get a chance to previously. So I've been really happy with him. And I think Seattle's just they're playing house money now. Nobody expected this. They're going to be very loose. At least I hope they are. They should play with the same energy Detroit did. Let's go for it on fourth down when you feel like it. Run some hitch and flip and have fun. Because they have absolutely, nothing to lose. No expectations were put upon them. They can go down there, hopefully play loose, and just don't get out of the game. They got to hang around and not get into some kind of deficit.
Yeah, I was looking at some preseason numbers, and we're joined by Kenny Mayne of the Hey Mayne podcast, and there are a lot of 6-win predictions for the Seattle Seahawks. So no doubt they overachieved. Let me ask you about the NFC. I mean, it seems like most people are kind of penciling in the 49ers maybe going to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship. How do you handicap the NFC?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it makes sense to say, certainly. Philly had a great year. Got the quarterback back. They get to sit out the first round. That doesn't hurt. And San Francisco's just been really good. The defense is so tough. They gave Seattle all sorts of problems. Bosa coming in. I mean, that's a chore. That's why I hope, I'm sure they're thinking of this, do things that minimize that advantage San Francisco seemingly has, right? Get the ball out quick. Don't let them get in your face and disrupt things. Maybe run right at them sometimes. Sometimes that works. When somebody's that dominant, it's almost a tactic. You go right at him, make him make his move. But you don't want him running free and, coming in blindside. That's never a good thing. But, yeah, San Francisco really looks strong. Obviously, I'm from Seattle, rooting for my home team. Definitely biased in this one, but I think, they got a good shot to come within the spread, and we'll see if they're good enough to actually get over the top.
Kenny, I'm kind of different, so I'm going to lay this on you because I had this thought. And you just mentioned, the Seahawks, nobody's giving them a chance. Vegas has them plus 10. In a crazy way, if they were able to pull off this upset, do you think that would be more gratifying than 2013 when they won the NFC Championship game?
Well, I mean, they were the big team then. They were a dominant team in the whole league. So, it was expected. And that came down to Richard Sherman knocking that pass away, right? I mean, Kaepernick threw a good ball. Crabtree was there. You don't have a guy like Richard Sherman in the corner. San Francisco wins. That would have changed a whole bunch of things, wouldn't it? I don't know. Winning the whole thing's better than just winning one playoff game. But it's a little bit like when people were last week suggesting Detroit was going to lay down if they found out they'd been bounced. I thought that was fairly disrespectful. You'd think them going out and knocking out Green Bay, a big rival, would be next best satisfying thing, right, to making the playoffs themselves. So I was happy to see they played that one through. And Seattle just comes in loose, I hope, because like you were saying earlier, a lot of 5-win, 6-win, no chance at playoffs. They somehow get in on the last week, get an overtime win, and get that Detroit win. So they should just be kind of, hey, we're having fun. We're in the tournament.
Kenny Mayne, host of Odyssey's Hey Mayne podcast, joining us on 95.7 The Game. John Lynch, the general manager of the 49ers, said yesterday that there's a good feeling in the organization that we're going to be a good team and organization for a long time to come. My question to you is, I was listening to our station yesterday. We had a lot of Seattle guests on, and the Seahawks have a lot of good young players. They're starting 2 rookie offensive linemen. They got a rookie running back. I guess they got a corner or a defensive backfield guy who's just terrific. Can the Seattle Seahawks leapfrog the 49ers without upgrading at quarterback, do you think?
If you gave me Geno as good or a little bit better with more consistency, given that now he's had the chance, I don't know why they make any big change. Let him do it again. He proved that he belonged, and let him do a bunch of wins. They blew a couple games, but every team can say that, right? Every team that won 8 games can say we could have won 10. 9 could have been 11. There's always those what-if games. But, yeah, Seattle also has a ton of good draft choices coming up. So, absolutely, they can compete with them. I don't know about leapfrog right away because San Francisco's pretty loaded. And it's good to be in that position where almost no matter what happens, we're going to be a playoff team, right? And once you're in the playoffs, you got a chance to go all the way.
Hey, Kenny, you mentioned the Legion of Boom and the Niners and Brock Purdy, a great story. I mean, it is. The offense is taking off, but the staple of this team's been their defense led by Bosa. Do you see any similarities with the Legion of Boom and this Niner defense?
Well, the similarity just being that they get that momentum where you just, oh my God, we got to snap the ball again, right? Like you dread the next play. Yeah. You dread third down. The whole team's coming at you. So yeah, they have this intimidation factor when they play that well and have that many angles coming at you. Try to double team him, somebody else is going to come in, big blitz on it. So yeah, they're a problem, and that's why I'm saying I hope Seattle has some countermeasures. Draws, screens, get the ball out quick, all the things you do against the fierce rush, and try to minimize that advantage. And hopefully little plays. Sometimes we got some guys that can break big plays, DK, and he's been shut down, and typically against 49ers he did really well, but this year not as much. So I don't know, can they do that 3 in a row and kind of contain him or not?
Kenny, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and good luck on the podcast. Hey, Mayne.
All right.
Second year.
With the Niners if it doesn't go well, but I'm rooting for my home team. Have fun this week.
That's fair enough. That's Kenny Mayne.